everything on board. Congratulations.
Madam National President, Mr. Chairman, past and current presidents, fellow brothers and sisters of AHEPA, good morning and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Before I commence my speech, I would like to thank the Progress AHEPA Committee, and in particular, immediate past National President Brother Jiannis Tsaousis, for the generous support of my chapter, and especially of Maria Elena and I, in order for us to attend the Australasian Convention of AHEPA. Without Brother Jiannis Tsaousis' support, and the undivided support of past National President Dacia Manos, Sister Despina Sapunzis, and Victorian President Spiros Lobotis, Chapter Achilleas would not have achieved the success we have to date. We would not be here, and AHEPA would be an organisation a lot less relevant and well known to our community without these people. So thank you very much to all the Sister Dacia, Brother Elias, Sister Despina, and Brother Spiros Lobotis, and to the Progress AHEPA community. This time last year, the seeds of AHEPA's latest rejuvenation project, the first of its new youth chapters, were finally bearing fruit. As provisional chapter, this time last year, we had just held a tabard night in support of Kivotos Cosmo. I had interviewed Mrs. Dora Bakuyanis, the former Foreign Minister of Greece, on behalf of AHEPA, and the former Mayor of Athens, on the subject of the Greek crisis. And at that stage, we had 14 members in our chapter signed up, preparing for our inauguration, which took place in December last year. Today, brothers and sisters, I stand in front of you proud of our achievements in the last year, 10 months as an official chapter of the Order and several months prior as a provisional chapter. Today, we have doubled our membership and currently stand at 28 members. By early next year, we'll go over 30. We have held a number of events, in particular a high-tea fundraising for Kivotos Cosmo in late June of this year, to which the Ambassador of Greece, His Excellency Mr. Charis Daphanaros, drove all the way down from Canberra, expenses paid by the Greek government in order to attend our event, as well as a sausage sizzle, a kuluraki Easter bake-off, and various other events. We are the biggest contributing chapter of all of AHEPA in Australasia to the Kivotos Cosmo fundraising project. We have donated out of our own work almost $7,000. In 2 months' time from now, we'll be hosting our first anniversary dinner dance, and by March next year, we'll be cooperating with the National Union of Greek Australian Students in organising a business breakfast for professionals and the youth of our diaspora. All our projects and events form a strategic purpose that our youth chapters attract smart, talented, motivated, university-aged, Philadelphia Australian students. That we be a chapter where every single member has a contributing role and active involvement, and that membership in true AHEPA spirit is not just about a signature on a dotted line. And finally, like AHEPA, the core mission of our chapter is to be active Greek Australian citizens of our world through community leadership, fundraising, networking, and promoting Hellenism, our culture. In order for AHEPA youth to establish a strong foothold in the youth scene within the next 5 years, AHEPA as a whole must stay true to our name. We must be a point of difference with other groups. We must never lose sight of the philanthropy and the charity work that underpin our values and set us apart from every single other Greek community organisation. And those organisations are losing their relevance as the years go by. We must never cease to promote educational advancement within our diaspora, whether that be through AHEPA Greek schools, online language learning, adult beginners language courses in Greek, or lectures and seminars open to the public on cultural issues, such as Brother Emmanuel Comino and what he is doing with the international colloquy on the restitution of the Parthenon marbles. But what we must not do is to retain any semblance of a schizophrenic split between being a brotherhood or a sisterhood and a philanthropic society. We cannot, we must not, and do not have to choose between the two. We can maintain our close connection between our members, our fraternal bonds, and at the same time, we can open ourselves up to the community so that we can become more relevant. At the same time, we must keep our existing members, especially in our youth chapters, engaged through less formal meetings. We are conducting meetings during term time at our universities and our formal meetings at AHEPA House in Melbourne. We must collaborate with NUGAS and other Greek university societies who are incapable of organising fundraising and cultural events and are stuck in the past and with nightclub events that undermine the wisdom of Greek youth today. We must, in the long term, position youth chapters in Australia, in Queensland, Chapter and Achilleas in Melbourne to start off with, as a unified AHEPA youth brand, rather than a chapter brand, when there is more than, and therefore we can go to the community with one voice. We are kickstarting a Refer a Friend program to increase our membership in Chapter Achilleas, and we are incentivising current members to refer new members through an awards program where one member each year will be awarded the President's Award at our anniversary dinner dates. This leads me to my next point. But before I get to the next point, I must reiterate, we must get our members participating, sharing their views and ideas by having fewer but more meaningful, more purposeful chapter meetings per year. We must not unnecessarily burden our members, and we must focus on making membership in AHEPA value added. This must be our approach, this must be our selling point. Now this leads me to my next point. AHEPA needs to open up and become a professionally administered organisation. I am astounded by the demanding paperwork that many officers in our order have to complete on a constant basis for the maintenance of up-to-date books and records. This poses a heavy administrative burden on our members and our chapter officers and lodge officers, and keeps them more involved in maintaining paperwork rather than in doing what they should be doing, and that is in rejuvenating, renewing our order and attracting new members. This is not to say that paperwork is not important. It is. But for AHEPA to grow, we need to attract young and working age people. We need to properly revitalise our organisation. We must consider and quickly act to establish a permanent, properly staffed national headquarters. The office should be responsible for completing all paperwork, be our liaison with external organisations, help manage the properties and assets of AHEPA, and conduct our public relations drive with the community, all while supporting lodge and chapter presidents and officers. The national headquarters must be responsible with finally setting up proper, comprehensive national and state budgets with respective lodges. We must work with the National Lodge in securing vice-regal patronage and tax deductibility status. Because to be a genuinely philanthropic and cultural organisation of significance and relevance to our community, AHEPA needs an office. The National Office would have a special role in recruiting all members. It could run recruitment campaigns. It could be in constant liaison with prospective members, schedule candidates' interviews with respective chapters, and process membership applications, whilst lodges in every state will be tasked with running information evenings. The national headquarters will be responsible for collecting membership fees of all members, new and old, and for subsequently distributing them to the respective chapter, state and district lodges and national lodges. For this to happen, AHEPA must adopt a single uniform membership fee nationwide for seniors, for adults, and a discounted rate for youth. This will empower our members, and this is my next point. Chapters are the most unique, yet an inefficient aspect of AHEPA structure. They're the best part of our organisation. The only way for our organisation to retain its unique chapter structure into the future is by streamlining our systems, by keeping the necessary things that make sure that we retain our morals, our values, and stick to our foundations. By doing so, by streamlining, we will liberate our chapter members and officers from arduous and unnecessary duties, and get chapters to be the executing force of the strategies that are set by national, state and district lodges. The chapters will be and should be our men, our feet on the ground in promoting the good vision, the humble and proud vision of AHEPA. And this leads me to my next point, developing a coherent national AHEPA message. With the national headquarters, a rejuvenated chapter structure, centralised and streamlined administrative system, and we've started that today with the passage of the motion of the Public Relations Officer. AHEPA must and is taking the opportunity to promote itself as an organisation memia foni. We must not hesitate to identify ourselves rigorously with our highly successful American AHEPAns by increasing communications channels between senior officers at AHEPA, which already exist, as I know, at the senior levels at the National Lodge. By collaborating between our states on joint fundraising drives, and by hopefully holding an international convention in Greece whenever we can. Our advantage in our community is that we are an international organisation. But what troubles me is that we rarely market ourselves as that in the public. At the same time, National AHEPA will have every state on board in adopting and driving our national fundraising campaigns. Whether it be the highly successful and publicised Victorian campaign for Kivotos to Cosmo, or the AHEPA ACT High Tea that was very successful at Parliament House. We should be holding interstate events and supporting each other on a regular basis. The national president cannot be the only person in AHEPA doing this. It is a very heavy burden. At the same time, we need to publicise ourselves with internal and external newsletters, with updates from every state, projects and special updates. Because learning from each other, one national convention a year is not enough in 2013. This should be all facilitated with a PR officer, or maybe into the future with an office. These are ideas. Let's get the conversation started. Και τώρα, λίγα λόγια στα ελληνικά. Αγαπητοί αδελφοί και αδελφές, αυτό που αντιμετωπίζουμε τώρα είναι η ευκαιρία για να γίνουμε μια αληθινή παγκόσμια οργάνωση που ενδιαφέρεται για την παιδαγωγία των νέων Ελλήνων Αυστραλών για ειρηνικούς σκοπούς και για την βελτίωση της ελληνικότητάς μας, καθιερώνοντας μια διασπορά ελληνική που συνεργάζεται και αναμορφώνεται. Αυτό το θέμα που θέτω δεν αποτελεί ριζική αναμόρφωση. Συμβολίζει αυτά που πρέπει να κάνουμε για τη μεταβίβαση της φλόγας του ελληνισμού και της ΑΧΕΠΑς από εσάς που έχετε χτίσει την ΑΧΕΠΑ, που έχετε δουλέψει τόσο σκληρά για την ΑΧΕΠΑ, και να μεταδώσουμε αυτή τη φλόγα στη νέα γενιά, που πρέπει εμείς να ολοκληρώσουμε και να την βελτιώσουμε την ΑΧΕΠΑ με κάθε δύναμη και προσπάθεια. Δεν υπάρχει αμφιβολία ότι χρειάζονται αλλαγές. Όχι για να δημιουργήσουμε μια εντελώς διαφορετική ΑΧΕΠΑ, αλλά για να ασφαλίσουμε το μέλλον της ΑΧΕΠΑς ως προοδευτική οργάνωση σχετική με τις ανάγκες της διασποράς μας. Η ΑΧΕΠΑ θα μείνει, η ΑΧΕΠΑ θα πετύχει και εμείς οι Έλληνες είμαστε ένας μορφωμένος, αποφασισμένος, προοδευτικός λαός. Όποια πρόκληση και αν συναντούμε, μαθαίνουμε και μεγαλώνουμε. Είμαστε οι πρώτοι Ευρωπαίοι και οι πιο σπουδαίοι. Δεν φοβόμαστε στην ΑΧΕΠΑ καμία αλλαγή. Και σήμερα, όπως σε όλη την ιστορία των νεοελλήνων, πρέπει εμείς στην ΑΧΕΠΑ να αντιμετωπίσουμε αυτές τις αλλαγές με κάθε προσπάθεια για να χτίσουμε το μέλλον που έχουν ονειρευτεί οι σπουδαιότεροι ιδρύτες του έθνους μας. Ζήτω η ΑΧΕΠΑ, ζήτω η Ελλάδα, σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Engallecito, Rea.
Mucha.
Okay, enough paparazzi. It's already on Facebook. It's already on Facebook. So let's move on.